following discussion is not necessarily the views of all involved. The goal is to start open and honest discussion in the Christian worldview. Like all things, weigh what you hear with what you know and join us in our pursuit for the truth. Enjoy the podcast.
I'm sorry, I've ruined everything that has been brought up so far. Hey, did you know in Spain they have a tradition called the poop log?
What?
Wait, Josh, did you say Jesus is the true Yggdrasil?
I have a caveat after, but yes.
Yeah,
go.
no, I guarantee you do. But because this is a wild thing to say.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the Second Rate Saints podcast. I'm one of your hosts here, Caleb. To my left is
Joshua. And to my left, immediate left.
Yeah, we're nearly holding hands this episode. As Joel.
There.
No, don't hold my hand. Okay. And to either of you, to my left, Colton, who also reached out for, anyways,
It's just a handshake, dude.
just a handshake.
Anyway,
A prologue.
I am Colton, and to my in front of me / left,
I am 8 feet away from everybody else. If we're
it's true.
We're breaking the illusion, guys.
yeah, it's me, Caleb again. We've gone full circle. Sadly, we are again, as per the norm, missing Stuart. It's a very sad day. Stuart, I know you want to be with us. It will happen again. Joel.
Yeah?
What do we do on the internet?
We are hanging out on the internet at secondраtesaints.com. If you want to find everything that we're doing online, that is the crossroads for it. You can also follow us on Instagram and on X, or formerly known as Twitter. And if you would like to donate towards the Ministry of Second Rate Saints?
No,
I don't know.
I don't
Podcast
know.
of Second Rate Saints?
Help
if
us
you'd
out.
like to be part of financing the future of Second Rate Saints and the many projects that we are just waiting to greenlight once we have the time, then you can donate to us at, buymeacoffee.com/second-rate-saints. We are trying to get a link on the website, but that has proven more difficult than we thought last episode. So whatever. It might be there and it might not be. Check us out on the website.
I'm going to try to remember to do it immediately after this.
I mean, if we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. But as per the listener, you guys, you're going to be close to Christmas by the time this comes out.
Oh,
So we're going to talk about Christmas stuff. This is our Christmas pseudo special episode. Last time it was just a pre-recording of Stuart reading an essay.
Yep.
This time we're going to do a special episode.
It really feels like Christmas today. Josh put up his Christmas tree. I'm looking at it now. It's really nice, Josh.
Has 0 lights on it.
It's got a cow hanging from it.
I bought lights. I just
You're an
haven't put them
angel
on yet.
instead of a star person, hey?
I like it.
Is that a traditional thing?
Hang on. Our stars angels.
No, I have a book all about.
Colton read a book on this.
We're not talking about forgotten
Stars
habits.
are not angels, but stars are used as an illusion for a type of Elohim, often referred to as an angel.
Josh and I read the same book, apparently.
Except in Old Testament theology, stars might be angels.
Stars actually.
Oh, I'm of
Probably
the
not.
belief stars are angels.
See, here's the
Anyways,
thing,
we can continue.
I don't know when he's
Yeah,
trolling.
I can't tell if you're trolling or not.
So wait, is your argument that
Mhm.
angels reside within the furnace of a neutron star?
If I say yes, how will you react?
I mean, it's dope.
It's so cool. It's honestly awesome.
So if
Where the rings are fire coming from, if not from, the heart
Kind
of
of
the
answers
star.
the question.
Remember,
of,
demons are black holes.
Kind of answers the question of how many angels can fit on the head of a pin.
Oh
It's too small. None.
Anyway,
If they did, it would have infinite density and pierce the crust of the earth. Because they're
it would
stars.
also be a singularity.
Yeah.
We have derailed so fast here,
Anyway.
everybody.
And that's why you can't put angels on the top of your tree. Anyways.
Josh, you have an angel on the top of your tree.
Yeah, I've broken physics.
That's why it's bending over a little bit.
I do like your tree. It's well decorated.
Thank you.
They're real?
It's nope.
It doesn't
sadly.
look real. I'm sorry.
It's not real because we would have to move too much furniture to put a real tree in here.
That's okay.
I love it anyways.
That's pine as it is.
Okay. That's holy moly.
It's actually
Sorry.
Doug Fraser fur.
No, that's plastic, buddy.
It is.
Okay.
Merry Christmas. Anyways, Caleb, take it away.
That's it. End the episode. No, it's going to be a little more relaxed. Just kind of chill. You know,
Just very special.
very special. Yeah. Let's ask some questions just to get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Why do Christians, most Christians, celebrate Christ's birth on December 25th?
Because it's at the end of Advent.
No.
Because the Catholic Church decided to do that.
Mm.
Kind of true.
But was he
It's a
actually
holy
born
day.
there? Does it matter if he was born there?
There.
At that
Born,
time?
yes. There. no.
Yes.
Nope.
Not if you count for leap years.
It doesn't matter if you don't count for leap years.
Yeah.
What?
Anyway,
This
No,
is starting off rough.
I'm sorry. I've ruined everything that's
The-
been brought up so far.
the answer to the question is not because Jesus was born on December 25th. We don't know exactly which day he was born based on, again, the leap year stuff and calendar stuff.
And it doesn't tell us.
Yeah. It would be
Yeah.
really, it would help a lot if there were external evidence about the census that's mentioned.
Yeah.
But there isn't. So,
Not yet.
We can.
We do know that Christ's birthday was 3 AD. It says that in the Bible.
After what?
Never heard that noise before.
Yeah.
Sorry.
okay. So,
Caleb
Caleb,
is
break
the
it down.
reason why we celebrate on the 25th of December because of the Roman holiday of Sola Invictus.
yes, because of the sun worship in Rome. So, the idea would be that darkness was coming over the god, the sun,
Mhm.
right?
Solstice.
And that because of the winter festival, the Solstice festival, that was the turning of the tide. That is when the sun is going to overcome the darkness that seemed to start to seal it up. And this was the new
Day is growing again.
yes.
Yeah.
I understand it doesn't quite line up. Doesn't matter. That's how the Roman religious sun worship operated in the 3rd century at that time.
Mhm. On the winter solstice?
Yeah.
On the 21st?
25th, when Christmas is.
Okay. Because the solstice is on the 21st.
Yeah, they didn't.
That's what he was saying. Doesn't quite line up with
Yeah.
our modern
Yeah.
Yeah.
conception.
But unconquerable sun, S-U-N.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Well,
We also worship an unconquerable sun,
exactly.
S-O-N.
That has been born into the world.
Mhm.
Let's do it at the same time. Go to mass,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then from there
Son
it
of
just
God.
kind of
To be specific, the Son of God.
yes.
And I know you've talked about it, like the significance of it before, and I get this point from you, but it is at the darkest point of the year
Yeah.
that Christ subverts the darkness and
It's
brings light. Yeah.
yeah. When I got to preach on it quite a few years ago,
Mm.
and the whole motif that I went with, because it's a Christmas. It's any sermon in December. Even if you're not like a
Yeah.
heavy Advent thing, you're still kind of
Mhm.
Tie Christmas into it. to
yeah,
some
and
degree.
I think that's good and important. But I did the whole it's the initiation of God's cosmic plan through His Son. Like the climax of the event is coming, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
I kind of compared it to the D-Day launch, right, where the Allied forces have landed in Europe. There is hope again on the mainland.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah. And it occurs in the darkest of hours when it looked as though, God hasn't spoken to the Israelites in 400 years. They're oppressed by Rome. Both sides. Where is God in all this?
Mhm.
Boom. In a manger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so for Christians, we were like, oh, that's the darkest hour. And that's
Mhm.
when the brightest light comes in.
And it's a
Mhm.
great evangelical tool.
Yeah.
Christians, to some degree, have, I can't remember, was it Ignatius who used the term of using holidays as a subversion tactic?
Several fathers did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The idea of like Christmas being on the holy day for Rome is a way of evangelizing to the Romans.
Yeah.
Yeah. All Saints Day being on the Halloween.
Yeah. That one has
was
a bit.
Mhm.
a little bit farther along the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some development in different areas differently. But
Mhm.
it's also one of the
I-
reasons why Easter developed differently and why the church actually kind of thought about when should we be talking about Easter. And then
Yes.
it's even worth pointing out now that Ukrainian Orthodox do not celebrate Christmas on December 25th. They celebrate it a couple weeks after. And there's a
just
couple
Ukrainian Orthodox.
as far as I'm aware, I actually don't
Oh.
know about Eastern Orthodox proper, and maybe Coptics as well.
Hmm.
Fun.
Second question. What are some of the biblical cultural factors that are often overlooked or missed in our like romanticization and mythicized version of the biblical story? I know Josh's church did a whole big thing last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Last year.
About
Yeah.
hey, let's look at this. What really went down?
Yeah.
What are some of those cultural things that get missed?
Well, I know that Josh has pointed out to me before that a lot of the ideas, the visual aspects of the nativity, come from the Gospel of Thomas, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a weird amount.
Really?
Yeah. And a little bit from Justin Martyr.
Yeah, I knew the Justin Martyr
Yeah.
part, but you had brought up Gospel of Thomas.
Yeah. It's super interesting.
Even as we set up the nativity at my church, I had a little bit of a moment where I'm like, how much of this is, informed by our theology of what happened, versus our kind of modern conception, our like Santa Clausification of
Mhm.
Christ,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I hated the cartoon sheep, right? Like this kind of like, it wasn't a pretty sight, and that should be almost emphasized.
Yeah. Like it wasn't in the manger, was held inside the house.
Yeah.
So the way houses in Israel were constructed, specifically in Bethlehem, where you had the main room where people would sleep and live and cook and whatever. And then you had a little area in the back with a back entrance where the animals would come in at night. And there was a little trough, a manger, that would separate the rooms. Animals inside your house was because they provided heating for when you slept, because in the desert it gets very cold. And so it wasn't like a
Mhm.
cave behind the house
Yeah.
or an outside building. It was in the house. So to say that there was no more room in the inn meant there was no more room in the front room.
Yeah.
So they slept where the animals slept, and Jesus slept where the animals were eating from.
Yeah. Which I didn't realize the optics of that. Just
Yeah.
because a lot of times we go through Christmas and we're so, I don't know, ready to just watch a favorite Christmas movie or whatever. And then not really reading scripture at face value of its account.
It seems as though it's culturally there's been a mythification
Oh,
of
yeah.
what goes on, right? Like the wise men.
Mhm.
Oftentimes they're just associated as showing up at Bethlehem.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you don't really get that. And if anything, you kind of get it that they show up far later.
They showed
Yes.
up around 2 years later,
Yeah.
roughly 2 years later. When, yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of thought about like, why does Herod kill that 2-year gap?
Mhm.
Right? Is because,
It's been 2 years since he talked.
yeah, since like, when did the star show up? Oh, about X amount.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the other one is the idea of, you see this a lot, is like they're arriving and she's pregnant, and like Jesus is coming out right now and they're running out of, like, no
Yeah.
one's letting them
Yeah.
in. That was the one thing, another thing that was not.
Not necessarily enforced by
Whereas,
the text.
yeah,
Yeah.
one of the gospels say that they were in Bethlehem for the census,
Mhm.
and then while they were there, they had the baby,
Mhm.
and it's
Mhm.
implied that because everyone's there for the census, that every room is full
Yeah.
Yeah.
potentially.
But again, like, it's one of those things. Even you see this now with The Chosen coming out.
Yeah.
If you're going to make the Bible into a filmable script, you have to do a little bit of filling in the blanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think The Chosen has done one of the best jobs
Okay.
Still haven't seen it.
compared to, from what I've seen.
I
compared to other movies like the Gospel of John
There's a
movies.
lot of bad ones, to
Yeah.
be fair.
You might be right. And along with Colton, I haven't seen it. I don't like what some people have made it.
Oh, for sure.
Mm.
And that's I shouldn't read that onto the actual thing itself,
No.
but it does
Yeah.
bother me.
And you also shouldn't assume that the things that they write, the things that they write into the show
Mhm.
should never be taken as what the Bible is saying.
Yeah, it's not a replacement for the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dramatization of it.
Though some of the things can be good.
And I would say, like, from what I have seen in the clips, it is largely accurate.
Mhm.
I just don't know.
Like Matthew's autistic.
Sorry,
That
what?
is true. They do make Matthew like a little bit. Here's my theory. No.
He's like, he likes
That's just-
numbers and he's a tax collector and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
fair
they make
enough.
him
Really?
autistic.
Yeah.
It's a little on the nose.
Really?
But even then,
Yeah.
that's a weird interpretation because the reason he was a tax collector was not because he loved numbers. It's because he was a greedy tax collector. That's
who
the
was
idea.
who was okay with
Conspiring?
conspiring with the Romans.
Yeah.
Not conspiring would
He
be.
was a sellout to his
Yeah.
own people. That's
Yeah.
a major
Yeah.
flaw of his. And to say that, oh well, he just really liked running the numbers. It's like no.
Yeah.
In fact, oftentimes they would just make up a number that
He's
had to
just
be
Rain
higher
Man.
than whatever they had to give the Romans, and then
Yeah.
they would.
Yeah.
He's just
Turn
Rain
around.
Man.
But back to Christmas. We have these dramatizations because, and also like we can be like, but we shouldn't let these like differences that like the Bible presents versus like the pictures we have get in the way of like, it shouldn't make us like intellectual snobs about the nativity. Like we'll have like nativity scenes,
Mhm.
right? And then
Sure.
we'll be like, oh, but that's not accurate because the wise men weren't there and it's not a stable.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, but it's also just a decoration.
And they usually leave out the most important figure, the little drummer boy.
Yes. I mean, if it's going to be accurate, then you have to have the great red dragon there.
What?
Oh, from Revelation.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Because he's
He's
present.
waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I miss whenever I see nativity scenes is I miss the heavenly hosts. I
Mm.
really like it when they have a portrayal of the heavenly hosts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was listening to an interview with an exorcist. This is a little bit of a tangent, but I'll bring it back in. And apparently, one of the things that Catholics will do
I-
when confronting a demon is they'll ask, "What was your purpose? What were you made for?"
Yeah.
And the guy that I
I
was
have a
listening
caveat after. But
yeah,
yes,
no,
go.
I'm guarantee you do, but because this is a wild thing to say. But one of the things that he said was the most common in exorcism that he had is when he would have a manifestation and
Mhm.
when these demons would speak, answering what they were made for. A lot of them would say, "I was made to be part of the heavenly host declaring
Mhm.
Christ's coming,"
And
and
it's-
just the idea that God created specific beings to be there to herald like Christ's existence from
Mhm.
the beginning of time. Right? It's just incredible. So,
yeah. And he also mentioned that like Christmas carols specifically bother them
yeah.
because of that. But the one advocate I would put in, and I think he mentioned it.
Mhm.
I don't know if he did, was you have to be careful when they say stuff like that because they're inherently liars.
Yeah. Oh, guaranteed.
And so like you have to like, though that's an interesting, then like I would love the idea of how sad that is.
Mhm.
Um
Well, and like you said, the
You love
reason
the
that-
idea of how sad that is.
Yeah.
Just the way you phrase that. It's
yeah,
funny.
I love the idea that
It's metal.
that the demon is sad.
Yeah. There's a tragedy.
Sounds so weird.
There's a
You know why?
tragedy.
Because it should be.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
should be depressed for what it did.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, and there's
This is taking such an odd turn. I think it's
demons being
fascinating.
emblematic of sin is them failing their purpose just
Yes.
by nature. They
Yeah.
are fundamentally unable to do what they were made.
I
to
think
do.
it's fascinating if God made angels for that purpose of worshiping in the heavenly host or
Yeah.
proclaiming God's glory
Falling away.
in the not
Oh.
falling away, but just that's like some have been made for that purpose.
Yeah.
Yep.
In proclaiming God's glory at really the incarnation happened before, but the incarnation, Christ's birth
Mhm.
when we now celebrate Christmas for. I
Mhm.
think that's fascinating. I don't know. I liked that interview. It's
Yeah.
a Pints with Aquinas interview, right?
Pints with Aquinas,
Yeah.
a guy, Michael I wish I had his last name, but as
Yeah.
Bishop Michael is his name.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
always skeptical about stories like that.
Yeah, for sure. There's a grain of salt, right? But you know,
It is
a grain
fascinating.
of salt. I just got that.
I like
yeah.
that. I like that rework of the phrase. Anyways,
One of the other misconceptions I see are some like things about the story itself. You said stuff about the magi.
Mhm.
We had this issue last time we talked about the Maggie. But the one of them is like Jesus didn't cry
Yeah.
when he was born.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
Silent night.
Yeah.
Everything we can tell from the text, it would be loud. They're in a barn with animals. The inn is full. There's a baby's birth. The angels are worshiping God in the heavens. Everything
The
that it talks
shepherds
about is
come.
loud.
Yeah.
yeah. Also, it's just like, and also like the Bible doesn't specify 3 wise men. It just
Mhm.
specifies wise men that brought 3 gifts.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
Do you guys think they were Zoroastrians?
Yes. Next
We talked
question.
about this the
Next
last-
question.
I think they could also just be. I think they definitely could be. I also think they just could be like,
Eastern.
no Babylonian like astrologers.
Most
could have
I
also
don't know.
been Zoroastrian.
the vast majority
Yes.
of them would have been Zoroastrianists.
I don't know.
Okay.
But Zoroastrianism had a lot to do with Assyrian divination.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they were operating out of Babylon, they would have been using a pretty ancient source of divination, just because the way that they would do it is by cataloging
Mhm.
miracles
Yeah.
throughout time. And so one of those would probably be paying attention to Hebrew scripture and, prophecies of Christ coming. So,
Right.
Well, yeah, that they would have gotten from the exile.
Yeah.
Which means that they are probably descendants of Daniel's college of wise men.
I think that's
Yeah. I
crazy,
think
but
that's-
okay.
I think that's throwing in too
if he was
much.
the head of the wise men, then he would have left an imprint on them historically.
Yeah, and then the Persians killed everyone. They didn't kill everyone,
yeah.
actually.
Well,
well, I mean, Daniel still served under Cyrus.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
no, right?
Yeah, and then that's why I said they did.
Such a great king.
Yeah,
Because
something
I
I
don't know.
fully
I think
believe.
it's, I think it's a
The fact
bit
that
much to
multiple-
say that they pay attention to Hebrew scripture and that they were probably in like some college of Danielic.
Well, I can make
you can. It's just
seems a bit.
it seems far fetched. Also, it seems more likely that they associated stars, if there's Zoroastrianists, stars connection with heavenly fire,
Yep.
connection with god kings,
Mhm.
and that's how you get the connection between. There's a king that is born. There's a new star.
yes,
I think.
yes, no,
Not saying that what you're saying,
No,
you're
no,
saying,
no.
guys are saying is wrong. It's just I
You're
don't think we
correct.
could prove either way.
I agree.
What I think Josh and I are trying to do is find a physical representation of God's revelation to other nations. That rhymed badly and unintentionally, but
The yes, but it's not just that they say that there's a new king. It says there's a new king in Israel.
Sure,
They do.
fair enough.
And so they specified that it's Israel's king, not just a king in the east.
But that could be done through their divination.
Yeah, because if that's where the star brought them.
Yes, but that star is always in that area. So that star that appears is the east star of the Middle East that appears
Hold
often.
on.
Okay, I'm
Hold
actually not
on.
on board. I'm not on board with this theory. No.
So
What?
that star is that star that moves in that way. There's multiple recordings over multiple histories of that exact same movement in astronomy.
Don't.
that's pretty cool.
Current astronomy.
Oh yeah, ball lightning.
Current astronomy has not astrology. Current astronomy knows which star it is. It's used by many nations in that area. It's one specific star. It's not just any star that represents a birth of a king.
That's awesome.
What? It moves?
Here's the thing. I don't know. I would need to read that.
Okay.
I
How
am
does the
pressing
star
F to
move?
doubt.
That's okay.
I've heard things along that line,
Yeah,
but I don't have a source for it, so I'm not gonna.
That's anyway.
Josh, how does the star move? I'm actually curious now. This is interesting. I don't want to go too deep into this, but what?
Starlink announces the Lord's birth.
It's
Elon
Musk in
satellite.
the past.
So they would have referred to it as a star. It would have been a meteor following a pattern of,
Like a comet?
yeah,
Oh.
from a meteor stream that passes by every few years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that
That's
could
cool.
make sense.
But stars are angels, so there's that.
No.
Well, that's the other thing. That is a naturalistic explanation for just an angel guiding them, and then the star being over Bethlehem.
Which is the way the original audience would have read it, and that's
Yeah.
the original author would have intended it to be read.
Yeah.
And also people mixing that in with the other birth narrative that talks about like him, the angel appearing to the shepherds and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
Okay, less speculative and theologically heavy.
I thought this was chill.
It is. That was chill. What are some of your family's Christmas traditions?
My family's?
Yeah.
How much time do we have?
Oh yeah, your family be wild with it. I know
They
that.
do. They really do. Someone else go first.
I've got a wild one.
Go for it,
Christmas Eve, we go to the graveyard.
That's awesome.
Sorry, what?
And we vote one of the family members off.
It's the lottery.
for Christmas.
So we go on Christmas Eve, my immediate family, and we the Brookswood graveyard where a lot of our
Oh, yeah.
family's buried, and we put a candle on everybody's grave.
So it's like a family vigil service almost.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
It's kind of neat.
I like that.
but it's because they're now with Christ, worshiping
Yeah.
Him. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So it's kind of like we're still worshiping with them.
Communion of the Saints.
Yes.
Anyway,
Cool.
So
Joel.
Well, every Christmas I have to explain what this is.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a Newfie and Newfoundlander. Mummering. You guys familiar with the term?
Yep.
Yeah, because I've explained it to you every year, I suppose. But
you're gonna have to explain it to me.
mummering in a shed party. I guess it's kind of a Christmas / New Year's tradition. Really depends when everyone's up for it. So the day before Christmas Eve, called Tibbs Eve.
Tibbs?
Yeah. And it's the day that you get on the sauce for a lot of Newfoundlanders.
It's a day.
It's the day when you get on the sauce. But yeah, so mummering is basically you dress up so that nobody can tell who you are. And then you walk around and you knock on the door of, people around your town. And you say, hey, any mummers allowed in? And they say, yeah, sure. And then you go inside and you drink and you eat as much as you can. Of course, my family doesn't do this. We're not a drinking family, so we mostly just go around and hang out at, whatever the church has going on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's historically what the tradition is. Yeah.
So it's
And
like
then
Halloween meets Christmas.
there's a lot of all over the island. It's a little bit different, right? Like you'll find Baymen do it a lot differently than people from town, right? Like there's, yeah, it's a
Okay.
weird historical thing, but it's really interesting. If you want to just Google mummering Newfoundland, it'll surprise you. It's a little weird, but yeah, it's a Christmas tradition.
Yeah, when I did some research into the Halloween stuff, it came up because
Really?
yeah, there's a lot of links of mummering from like old Celtic countries and Scotland and Ireland. It came over to I almost said Iceland to Newfoundland.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, and there's other stuff too, right? Like, yeah, I'm just going to cover that. I don't care to go more into it, but
Okay.
yeah, basically, if you figure out who the person is, then they have to leave. Yeah, and that's
Interesting.
yeah.
Cool.
So you guys both said something that's pretty meaningful or at least historically significant. A lot of my traditions are very localized within my family. My family every year gets together with my grandparents and their kids, and then their kids' kids. Like, so it's our extended family of that degree. And we do a whole bunch of things. Like, there's a certain list of different movies we have to watch on specific days. Yeah. We do a lot. We eat Wife Saver on Christmas morning, as well as
What is that?
Wife Saver is kind of like shepherd's pie if it was made for breakfast and with Rice Krispies
Okay.
and without meat. Well, it has ham instead, but
With Rice Krispies.
yeah,
Rice
it's actually really, really good.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'll take your word on that.
We do then like Boxing Day. We do stuff with my great grandmother's kids and their extended family. Like my family does a lot of Buck Wild stuff, but it's very family oriented. Church is emphasized, but not everybody in our family is in the church, and so it hasn't been as much of a focus in some aspects. But besides that, it's very family oriented.
Fair enough.
What about you, Caleb?
So I kind of have 3-ish.
Okay.
But they're kind of sporadic. So hold on. The first one I like to go in the past, I would like to go to a midnight Catholic service, Christmas Eve, midnight Christmas Eve service. Fortunately, my church is actually having one, so I'm very excited about it. I'm just super pumped about it, actually.
Nice.
And then the other one, it was kind of a tradition that my sister and I just started recently, and then it looks like it probably ended because now we're so far away and I don't go home for Christmas anymore. But
Fair enough.
for like 5 years in a row, we would try to play and beat a game. So we beat Ocarina of Time, we beat Super Mario Bros. 3, and like over like the Christmas 24-hour period.
Wow.
And it was
Oh,
it was
wow.
it was
Okay.
fun. It was fun. We beat a couple games like that. And that was
That's
a good-
awesome.
that was fun. Yeah.
What's the third one?
Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of it for Christmas traditions. My family's not big because we were always on the road because we always traveled to go to Christmas. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, another one for my family was the day after is moose hunting.
Oh,
Which is,
really?
Yeah, because it's like close to the end of the season, right?
What
So
did
that
you
was
use to
always-
hunt the moose?
Hmm?
What did you
Oh,
use?
we would just get a knife and some snowshoes and then chase him down. No,
with the snowshoes.
with the
Bonk,
snow-
bonk,
and then we
bonk.
beat him with the snowshoes, and once he's dead, we'll cut him up. No, no, that was I wasn't even the one going moose hunting. It's just that was
Yeah, you guys
that
bring
was-
out your elephant guns and you're like,
yeah.
we got it.
Take out the
Thank
elephant
you.
guns, put some antlers on it, and then boom, you got a moose gun.
Talking about? What are we talking about?
I don't know. This has gotten super weird. Hey, did you know in Spain they have a tradition called the poop log? Where- The poop log. You ever hear this? It's my favorite Christmas tradition all over the world. Haven't done it yet, but they're giving a log to kids, and it's got a hole in the center, and they fill it with candy gradually over. They feed it every day, almost like an Advent thing.
Yeah.
And then on Christmas, they just beat the tar out of it. They basically make a piñata over the course of multiple weeks.
awesome.
Yeah, and then they beat it, and they call it the poop log.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. When in Spain, I guess. I don't know.
But
Going in Spain.
as per a not Christmas tradition,
Yeah.
but a special episode tradition that we do kind of,
Yeah.
we have a little game. So this time, Joel's put together our game.
Okay.
We did talk about this, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Poop log was part of that. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Do you want to explain the name of the game that we're doing?
Sorry, before we start the game, can I bring up something else about the Star of Bethlehem?
Okay.
Balaam, son of Beor, in his prophecy,
Uh-huh.
mentions a star rising out of Jacob.
Mhm.
He was a prophet in Persia of the same tradition. So they would have been aware of his prophecy. So
Okay.
Neat.
Balaam?
Balaam, like the donkey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he's not Babylonian.
he is from the city of Pethor on the Euphrates River, right beside Persia.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's why he was like, that's why we have other writings of him from being so prolific.
Northern Mediterranean-ish
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
region.
that's cool.
Okay, explain the rules of the game.
Okay, this game is what I'm calling Christmisconceptions.
Nice.
Are they
Okay.
immaculate?
And I'm going to read out something. They're not immaculate. Mostly because they were conceived by my own brain,
Which is sinful.
which is not only sinful but kind of dumb.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm
I
going to
disagree.
read something out and then give you guys 3 options to guess. But these are just different traditions from around the world. Some of them being Christian, some of them just being interesting to me.
You're going down, Colton.
Oh. Yeah, well, I usually lose these, so yeah.
The traditional Christmas meal in Greenland includes one of these 3 things. Number 1, whale blubber. Number 2, seal fins. Number 3, moose antler marrow.
I don't believe that moose antlers are on Greenland.
That is my.
In Greenland?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not on Newfoundland. They had to be imported to Newfoundland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's because it's
Newfoundland is
Newfoundland.
not. You always say Newfoundland. I don't
That's
understand.
great.
I know.
It's great.
I say it to Joel, and then I don't.
It's
to other
great.
people.
Yes, I don't like it.
You said in Greenland, right?
In Greenland, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going seal fins.
Okay.
I'm going whale blubber.
I'm gonna go whale blubber.
Whale blubber is correct.
Dang it.
It is called matek, and it's actually the fat scraped off of the skin of the whale.
Love it.
Traditionally, people in Ireland put a tall, thick candle in the sill of the largest window after the sunset of Christmas Eve. This is to symbolize one of these 3 things: the inn being open, the Holy Spirit, or the first settlers, or the first settlers of Ireland. What? It's Celtic. Celtic stuff. You put that in.
Oh, I don't think it's the third one.
It's not.
I'm gonna go with the inn being open.
Cool.
I'm going with the second one.
I'm going with the last one.
Why? The
Just
settlers?
just generic Celtic. Okay. Yeah, Josh didn't win. You guys won on the end thing. This is what I said. Wasn't very.
Wait, what? I guess
prepared.
the second one, not the first one.
So you guess the second
I'm
one?
up.
Yeah, Caleb won that.
Oh, yeah. The end?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the end. Okay, so Caleb's got
Thought
2.
that was too obvious.
Cool. Last one. We'll make this one for all the marbles.
Caleb gave me a look like, are you really at 0? Yeah, I am.
Oh, you're at 0? I
Yeah.
thought you had 1. I thought you got the
But
first
it's
one.
okay.
No.
The last question's
Okay.
for the whole game anyway.
Yep.
The earliest legend of the origin of the fir tree becoming a Christian symbol dates back to 723 AD, involving Saint Boniface
Yep.
while he was evangelizing Germany. The triangular shape was originally to mean what? The Holy Trinity, the 3 fates, or it was actually 4 points for the 4 corners of the universe.
What shape are we talking about? I
The
don't.
shape of the Christmas tree.
Oh.
I think I actually might know this one. I'm pretty sure it's 3, the third one.
The 4 corners of the universe?
Yeah, which I guess
Okay.
now that I say 3 is a bit confusing.
Because he was
it's the
Saint-
shape of the tree that he cut down.
Yeah, what is the shape of the tree symbolic of?
Yeah.
In St. Boniface's?
Just as it was presented.
Because I know it's supposed to be a sapling of the Yggdrasil.
yeah,
Yeah.
the last sapling of the Yggdrasil, I think.
Yeah. So like it could be the 4 corners thing, but I don't think so.
Which, for the audience, Yggdrasil is the life tree of Norse mythology in which all the 7 realms rest on its branches.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that.
However, there are 3 fates: the young woman, the normal woman, and then the old woman.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Trinity just because it's generic.
I mean, that makes the most sense because of Christianity, blah, blah, blah. But because it's off Yggdrasil, I'm going to say 2, the 3 fates.
It's for all the marbles.
And then Boniface
Unless
It
adopted
is
it.
the Holy Trinity.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Dang it.
yeah, it's pretty cool. He said that it points towards heaven. So it's the
Beautiful.
idea is that it's the Trinity, and then it's the idea is that it's an arrow to God, which is pretty cool.
And
That's
Jesus is the tree of life.
Yes.
He is
But
the tree.
it would have
He's the
originally
vine,
been,
yeah.
there was no symbolism to its being triangle. It was only the symbolism of Yggdrasil.
Wait, Josh, did you just say Jesus is the true Yggdrasil?
Yeah,
I
the
love
tree of
that.
life in which the world rests upon.
Oh,
That's-
no.
Yeah. And if you look at his death
I'm
on
not
the
even
cross as
mad.
a cosmic event, then technically it is a tree that spans the
Yeah.
cosmic scale,
Yeah.
which is so cool.
I'm right.
Oh, no.
Our tree of life is Christ's tree of death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm right.
I guess so. In the same way that this is just like correcting pagans' spelling. They're like, yeah, it's a tree, but it holds Christ, not your Thor. Yeah.
But
I think St. Boniface is awesome, and I never hear anything about him. But
he's in Tom Holland's book. What's it called? Dominion. He has a whole section on St. Boniface.
Really?
It's like probably only 10 pages. It's great.
Do you want to know something cool? So I was listening to Dan Carlin's podcast, The Fall of the Aesir, which the Aesir is the name for the Norse pantheon, the Norse gods. And he's going through how Christianity destroyed Norse religion in the takeover. No, in the 800s and 900s, in the takeover from Charlemagne into the north.
Yeah.
Right.
That's when you get the largest and most common pagan tradition.
Yeah.
the same joke
What?
every time.
Well, no.
The converting to Christianity. Most
Yes.
common pagan tradition.
Yes.
Sorry.
One of the cool things was in that syncretism between the religions that started forming was you would have Vikings that worshipped Jesus on the land and worshipped Thor at the sea. And so there's pendants that you can find like in archaeology and stuff like that have the symbol of Christ and the symbol of Thor on them, because it started seeping into them slowly. And so, yeah, they started recognizing Christ in Norse religion as the god of all land. And then,
That's weird.
yeah,
I don't like that.
and then it got eliminated. So,
I'd like to put out a PSA for Christmas. If somebody tells you that Christmas trees are pagan, just ignore them. It's not. And if they point to Jeremiah chapter 10, block them.
What's Jeremiah chapter 10?
It's explaining how you make an idol.
Oh.
And they're like, if you decorate anything that's wood, you're an idolater.
like
And
your
it's
house.
yeah.
Like your house, yeah.
You know what
That's why I ripped it on my drywall.
You know what the oldest Christian tradition is? That isn't one of the right answers.
Is it idolatry?
I don't
No,
know.
it's not idolatry. It's making pagan things Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're being like our creator in transforming evil things into good.
Yeah.
Why would we
And
let
we're being-
pagans have trees? Why would we say, yeah, they're trees?
No trees
They-
for you.
You guys get trees. No. They're Christ trees.
I'm going to put these in my house.
Let's end on
Whatever that
why
is.
we give presents, because oftentimes Christians have been accused, at least what I find, of is like it says nowhere in the Bible about why you should be giving gifts. That's just the thing that you guys do because weird secularism or whatever.
Yeah.
Or materialism. Josh has his hand up first.
Yeah, but
and then
mine's
you can
higher.
go.
Okay.
Josh, go.
Because Jesus is the greatest gift of all.
Oh, that's good. Here's some Sunday school bucks.
Okay, now I'm going to answer with a joke as well. It's because we all live in the presence of God, but
That's good too.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, no, it is. We give presents to people we love
Mhm.
because we remember Christmas as the day when God gave the largest and greatest gift to humanity, the people who he loves.
his
Sorry.
own son.
It's awesome. This has been a shorter episode of Second Rate Saints. This will hopefully be releasing around Christmas time. That's what we're hoping for. If it doesn't get released, then there's no point to this message. But either way, if you have any Christmas traditions that you do in your family, we would love to hear them because those would be very interesting comments to go through. I know they vary quite a bit, even within our own circle. We have multiple different traditions that happen. Also, what's your church doing for Christmas this year? Because that's another really interesting one. What's the service like? What do you guys do for Nativity? Do you have a Christmas Eve service? Christmas Eve is on Sunday this year, which is super weird. So
Awesome.
how do you adapt to that? Anyways, if you've enjoyed this more relaxed podcast than we usually do, check us out on secondраtesaints.com. If you'd like to follow us, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you'd like to call it. Keep an eye on what we're doing. If you'd like to donate to the continuation of this podcast, you can check us out at buymeacoffee.com/secondраtesaints or click on the link in our Instagram bio or website. Man, that segment's getting longer and longer. Okay. Love you all. We'll see you next week.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's gonna be a buck wild. Olive oil. It's Crazy Train.